Is it hard being in the position you're in? Because you can help a lot of these bands. You get them on the show, boom, they could blow up. You never know.
Yeah.
But then again, you're also looking for viewers, and you don't want to get the indie bands on because it might not help the program. So it must be a tough position for you sometimes.
No, it's a balance, right? I mean, I have a radio show that I can play all these bands.
Right.
You know, and you know, we bit by bit work on ways to get other bands on TV. You know, when it sees fit. You know, every year on a Christmas special, we put a couple of bands that may not have mainstream appeal, or people just don't know who they are. We put them on the show. We try to introduce them whenever we can. You know, just like it's one of those things where you don't overthink the emotion of the show, because the show is what it is. It's who you are. So you find a spot. Today we're going to put this band on here. We want viewers, but it's not viewers at all cost. It still has to. You have to do what's right. There's lots of times we don't put people on the show who are very successful, very famous, who would bring in an audience. You don't put them on because it doesn't feel right. Everything has to feel right. You can't bullshit people and tell them you're going to come with an authentic voice and then not be it.
Right.
You can't be inauthentic. You just got to be who you are. Same thing with we program the bands. The radio show allows me the opportunity to build some energy behind a band if they need it, and then I can bring them on the show. So we play unknown bands all the time on the show. You know, with that band I talked about, Coppertone, last week we played the song on the show, on the TV show. Cool. So we do it. It's just, you just pick your places. You find out how to do it.
What about news stories in that regard, like the Tiger Woods thing? It's popular news, but it's not really news. Leave the guy alone kind of thing. How do you feel about stories like that?
We didn't do it.
You didn't? Not at all? Didn't touch it? Well, see, there you go. Commendable.
Didn't do it.
Like the whole Paris Hilton thing when you had that boycott.
We didn't do it. Yeah. I just don't care. I don't care who you're sleeping with. Irrelevant to me. I also think it's disingenuous for the press to go after this particular athlete. Fuck, they've been leaving athletes alone for years, as they should. You know, I'd be curious to see if any of these reporters, if their own personal lives start to come out, how dirty that would be.
Well, they won't sell papers, though.
They won't sell papers, but boy, it'll make the news, won't it? It'll make them. Yeah, I think sexual politics are boring, dude. To be honest with you, everybody Googles something weird at 2 in the morning, so I'm not judging. I don't care.
Fair enough.
We didn't do this sort of that stuff. As a human being, you look at the Tiger Woods scenario and say, why did you have to humiliate your wife? The other side of it is she hit him with a golf club. Ugh, I don't want to be a part of that relationship. Both sides in that relationship have issues, but I'm not judging it. I don't care, man. Do whatever you want. I don't care. I love the fact that he had a great tournament at the Masters. He had a great Masters for himself. Some people didn't think he would make the cut. And he goes up there. He had a couple of eagles. Were just nuts. You know, so I like the more hard-edged Tiger.
You once told me golfers are one of your favorite interviews because they remember every shot they've ever taken.
Well, yeah, it's. I approach the show the way a golfer, I think, approaches a round, and that you remember you try to think of every throw that you did. How can you pull from past experiences? There's things I do on the air I'll do tonight that while I'm doing it, I'll remember something that I did on the air 8 years ago, and you'll find, you go, oh yeah, I need to do this. Or if I'm doing an interview and something is working really well or not working really well, and I'm trying to think about what's the next step in this conversation, and it's happening real time, there's going to be an experience that happened when I interviewed Linkin Park on their first interview when no one knew who they were in an elevator, and apply a little thing from there. So you kind of approach it, you know, shot by shot. So I like that about golfers are good interviews when you're talking about the sport, because they're very honest about their game. So like I don't know about interviewing golfers in terms of just the general stuff, because that's different. But in terms of talking to somebody about their craft, golfers are like motorcycle racers. They'll tell you what went wrong, right? They'll tell you what went wrong. Hockey players don't tell you what went wrong. Hockey players, they'll say, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to do this, not, here's what I did wrong.
Right.
Whereas the audience, I find when you're honest about when things don't work, that's what I was telling you about the Harrison Ford interview. I don't care how an interview goes, right? If things don't work, that's fine. That's how the audience connects to you at home. If they go, okay, so here's where he made a mistake. He should have leaned here when he leaned there. He picked the wrong angle. He misjudged this green. And athletes are really good at that sort of thing. And if you can talk about yourself in terms of where you made mistakes, then the audience at home can buy into it and see when you do it right the next time.
What about the audience in studio? Do you find it easier to do a show in front of an audience, or like Hillary Clinton in a hotel room kind of thing? Or it's just one-on-one?
Yeah, to me it makes no difference.
No difference.
No difference. I mean, it's nice that the energy of having an audience around is great. It's harder to get someone to open up in front of an audience.
You think so?
Oh yeah, there's 120 strangers, man.
But then again,
they don't know them.
You must have some guests that just enjoy that, telling the story to everybody and making a crowd laugh.
Yeah, and that's good for a comedian. That's good for the right actor who likes to perform. But if you're trying to go inside, you're trying to talk to somebody about the time that they almost committed suicide, right? You got to work really hard to not break this.
Right.
Right. When you've got all these people here.
Do you ever feel like a therapist with your job in a way?
I feel like a friend. That's what I feel like. I feel like I'm sitting on a streetcar with a friend of mine, and they're having a good day, or they're having a bad day, or they're having a day somewhere in the middle, you know? And that's what I feel. I know that I'm not always a friend of the person at all, but it's not about that. I just sort of remove the construct of, do I know you? I just assume that we're going to talk to each other and trust each other, and let's just have a conversation.
We just did. Thank you.
That's all. No problem. Good to see you, man.
Perfect.
Thank you.